All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Monday, a new week of Betting Weekly Live. Of course, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Mike Carver here with you along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. Look back at the weekend, get ready for the NFL playoffs. It is all happening. Doug, happy Monday. How are you?
Be amazed at the continued nonsense of coaches. And I don't want to be a broken record, but I realize I am often, and just how inept they are. And really, I'm surprised by even the young coaches, such as the Carolina Panthers coach, who still maybe didn't play Madden football growing up, because this stuff is basic with clock management. And then John Harbaugh, it's more predictable because the game has passed him by and he does not understand certain things. Carver, this just in. A 44-yard field goal is not a chip shot.
It really is amazing. And I do get a kick
With a
out of your
rookie
tweets,
kicker.
Doug, all weekend during football. I love them, where you just going after these coaches, which rightfully deserve you going after them in all of these spots. Let's kick things off, of course, like we always do on a Monday, with the opening line. And we have it set now, Doug. The NFL playoffs, we are ready to go. 14 teams, the run to Santa Clara, of course, where the Super Bowl 60 will take place at Levi's. The Broncos and the Seahawks will have their byes after taking care of business this past weekend. Are you ready to go, Doug, for the playoffs?
I think I am. I'm excited. New blood, right? No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow, wide open field. I mean, you get the Rams, basically the NFC favorite, even though they have to go on the road maybe the entire postseason in the NFC. I'm excited for it because you look at all these spreads. You have the double-digit spread, which frankly is surprising. We'll get to, but outside of the Rams Panthers, you have all these at what 3.5 or less. A lot of 1.5s. And just storylines. I think we're going to see somebody crumble. We're going to see a crazy game. I mean, just a few years ago, we saw what was it, Chargers, Jags, 30-0, 27-0, whatever it was, and then the monster comeback. I think we could see like everything's on the table, I guess is my point.
Yeah, and I think that's the coolest thing for me is I can't remember going into a playoff of us having as wide open a slate as we're going to have. Like, you do not have the dominant team on either side, really, that you could just say, oh, this team's going to the Super Bowl. Oh, this team is, they're the clear favorites. I know that when you look at the board that we have, it kind of seems like Seattle and the Rams and even the Broncos, which kind of surprises me. They're the separators right now, but you can make a case, Doug, for a really large chunk of these teams as we get ready to get going this weekend.
We learned this basically with Eli Manning's Giants, and I'm sure there are other examples that I'm forgetting, but just it's not about who's the best team, it's about who's the hottest and who stays the healthiest. So if you get hot, really it starts like late November, right through the playoffs. But with this field, it's whoever gets hot now, right? Um, I get that the Rams are 10-point favorites, but on the road is tough. I mean, the Broncos only have to win 2 home games. That's all they have to do to get to the Super Bowl. It's pretty remarkable, and they're still not even, overwhelming. How do they not make this happen? Blah blah. Josh Allen, the one year he doesn't have Mahomes and company in the postseason, he's got a little bit of a tricky road, and I just think it's going to be so exciting. And because these teams are new to the party, we might have them playing, in March Madness. They're so young, they don't even know better, right? They don't have the pressure because they don't understand the stakes. Maybe we'll get a team like that. Maybe the Jags run through the playoffs because they just don't understand how hard it is to do what they're doing. Or the moment becomes too big and we see these guys crumble, and maybe a guy like Allen who has the experience and the scar tissue, if you will, the emotional scar tissue proves to be the difference maker to let them sort of slow the game down. So I'm fired up, man. It really is. And usually I get sick of the NFL, and trust me, I am, with the refs and the nonsense. I mean, just that Derrick Henry run on the first drive, and they called back for a bogus block in the back. And what if he housed it? What if he scored a touchdown that drive and it comes back because of like a Zay Flowers block downfield that was, I don't know, blindside block. So just these refs get in the way. But for the most part, I'm still fired up for this. And I'm excited for whichever fan base gets to experience the Super Bowl for the first time if that's the case, or whoever wins it all.
Maybe, hopefully, the fan base in Buffalo maybe can
Maybe.
experience it. Maybe. You
I
never
will
know.
say, Carver, I was a guy who rooted against the Cubs, who rooted against the Red Sox. I like the pain.
You
I
like
like
the
those
misery?
storylines. Yeah,
You
so
like
I did not want Mickelson to win his first major. I think those are great storylines when something is being forever and it doesn't happen. With that being said, I desperately want Indiana to face Ole Miss, so one of them can be a remarkable sports story.
Yeah, that would certainly be something else if we get that in the college football playoff final coming up later this week. All right, let's look at some futures now here for the NFL. And of course, all week long, we're going to look at these matchups. We've got some doozies, of course. Another Bear Packer game on Saturday night. The Rams going back to Carolina. You know what? I'll do this myself. You know what? I'm going to throw this in, Doug. I'll go off script a little bit here. Out of the 6 matchups for this wild card weekend, and we'll talk about them all week, but what was the first one that jumped out to you as like, man, I can't wait for this game, or I can't wait to bet this game? Was there one out of the 6 that jumped out?
Rams line felt the highest. I just thought 10, and it got to 10.5 briefly, was too high. Now, I think the Panthers are a mess, and that Carolina game was an outlier, and I think early kick time, the 10 a.m. West Coast thing, and that's not going to be the case. But still, 10 for a road team. So that was the one that stood out to me just because it was so high. But a couple of the others did as well.
Yeah, they certainly did. And we will discuss it all week long. All right, futures, now that we know the regular season's over, still have the lines up for a lot of these awards. And at Bet Rivers, I even was on it 5 minutes before we came on the air. Bet Rivers has all of the awards markets still up there. MVP. You have discussed this a lot the last couple of weeks. We talked at length about Stafford's bad performance last Monday night against the Falcons, how it changed the market. You went into this weekend. May didn't really do much, or had to do much, in the Patriots' huge win over the Dolphins. And of course, McVay let Stafford throw the ball all over the place in the second half. And he put some more big numbers up. And now you have Stafford at minus 182, Drake May at plus $1.40.
Look, I had a little bit of an obnoxious comment a few weeks ago, and I just said, look, I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm talking about, because it was when Stafford was like minus 220 or minus 180, and then he pulled a Purdy on Monday night. He threw 3 interceptions, including a pick 6, and he's still the favorite. And that was my point. The way voters operate, you really have to handicap them. You don't have to handicap the game. So Stafford, it just shows that this really was in the bag. And Stafford should have been higher than the Rams money line that night, which was like minus $4 on, or 380 on that Monday night game. It's just the way things are. Now, I applaud the fact that the voters seem to be taking the entire body of work into consideration and not just December. I'm grateful for that, because you don't want votes just to come down to the final few weeks. And he had 2 clunkers in December, but he had 2 clunkers all season. So those were the only 2 clunkers. The way things work, it's just the kind of way it is, the tea leaves I'm reading. Now, it's going to come down to the wire. So if you have a Stafford plus money bet from last week, I'd probably take some Drake May money right now. If you laid big juice with Stafford, you're just going to have to sweat it out. I don't think it makes sense to lay it off, because I do think Stafford's going to win, but it's going to be really close. I actually would support a vote for both guys, so it's not like this is a no-brainer. But I'm grateful for the market, and I'm grateful for the voters if they end up, submitting their Stafford ballot.
Yeah, Frankie the Fixer there in the chat box. Stafford back as MVP fave.
Oh yeah.
Go Bills from John. There you go, John. Go Bills. Up in the below. The Packers Bears being a pick 'em is insane to me. You can alt either team minus 2.5 to plus money if you feel so inclined. Interesting third matchup between the Bears and Packers coming up on Saturday night in Chicago. First time coach, first time quarterback for Bears. Books might be telling you Packers are the right side. Are they telling you that, Doug, with the first time coach and a first time quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, this is all power ratings. I think it's a little I don't know, optimistic to think Jordan Love's all of a sudden going to be flawless after 2 weeks off or whatever. I was talking to Sharp Better last night after the Sunday night game, and he goes, the Packers will close a favorite. He was pretty confident in that. And by the way, of all the Packers Bears playoff meetings, which are not a ton, but there's a few, none have been at Lambeau. It's all Chicago is the home
Wow.
team, so it's kind of strange. I think it's going to be a great game. The Bears have been that lucky horseshoe team, right? How does a defense that shaky lead the league in turnovers or whatever it is? But I'm not a big believer in this Packers team. I mean, are we positive Malik Willis isn't the better quarterback of the two? I know I get some heat for my Jordan Love bashing, but um, just throwing it out there. If I'm the Packers, I probably trade him to the stupid team like the Raiders. But that's a conversation for the offseason. I think it's a tough. This number felt high. The total felt high, but then the Packers defense stinks, so it's really hard. But this Packers are going to want to run. Sorry, the Bears defense stinks. So I'm kind of go back and forth, but 46 feels a little high. I think the teams are going to be a little tight this weekend. I think Caleb Williams and company could be a little tight.
One other thing on the awards for me before we start to get to tonight's stuff, including the NBA and whatnot. I think that what they have for the favorites is pretty much right on everything, and some of them are some monstrous numbers. But this one I saw some people talking about on social media, and I looked at the number, and it was pretty telling. Jackson Smith and Jigba is minus 5,000 at Bet Rivers to win the Offensive Player of the Year. Puka Nacua is 15-1 at Bet Rivers, and Doug, they have the same exact numbers. And Puka maybe even a little better. He's got one more touchdown.
Only one of them criticized the refs and then said some other ridiculous comments and things like that. I will say, with that being said, Carver, we as bettors in the sports betting community, all of us, care way more about these awards, the non-MVP awards, than anyone else who's voting on these things, right? Like we're talking like, ooh, November, like, did he lock up Offensive Player of the Year? I'm like, no one locking up what? I do think the awards voters take their responsibilities seriously and start to think about things like the last couple of weeks, but really this weekend is when they really started to care about it. So I think that speaks to maybe the long shot value, right? Like we think, oh, the conversation all year has been so and so or so. Like they don't really know this. I've always looked at the Offensive Player of the Year as sort of the fantasy MVP.
Yeah.
Whereas like the league MVP is really like the quarterback or whatever. So I don't think Nakua is going to get votes because of what he said about the league. I don't think the league wants him to win at all. I just don't. I don't think they're going to care too much because it's not the end. It's not like a big showcase award. I think McCaffrey is a long shot that maybe would consider attention at 80-1.
Yeah.
Bijan at 80-1 catches my eye. But JSN has just been fantastic. He glides on all his routes. He's always open, always gets extra yards. But yeah, these odds seem a little skewed. Unless there's great evidence of radio interviews, columns of actual voters talking about why they're going to vote for so and so, I think this is wide open.
I mean, minus
in a lot of ways, yeah.
5,000. That makes me think that he had like 130 catches, 2,000 yards, and 25 touchdowns.
Right. No, it's absurd.
He had an incredible year, but that much better than everyone else. I'm not so sure he should be that big of a favorite. So if, like Doug said, you want to have a little fun, maybe that's the one where you can maybe chew on a couple of long shots as you wait for the awards to get announced later this month. So NFL playoff time is here all week here on Betting Weekly Live. We will be going through all of the games. All right, we got action tonight. Well, first, Petey's considering a Jacksonville, Carolina teaser leg. You get the teaser for the 10.5. You get up to 17 and 6 or 7 point teaser, depending on where you go. Teaser with Carolina, maybe, Doug?
So when there's only 5 games and you usually get 16, just know that you're teasing just to get action on all the games because it's right. It's rare the playoff schedule is going to give you very advantageous like teaser options. With that being said, you only need 2 legs, and sometimes it does, especially with all these 1.5s. You can tease up to 7.5. I see the allure, but look, I think anything goes. If you want some action, have some fun. Just like always, be responsible about it. But yeah, if you want some action on the Carolina game and you want to tease or something like that instead of like laying the double digits, whatnot, yeah, fine. You can build your portfolio, if you will, into the weekend.
Yeah, and then you get games like the Bears Packers. You could do the double tees, right? Get them both up if you think it's going to be a really close game. Have some
That's
fun with
actually a
those.
bet I've never done. Will the website even let you do that?
I think you have to go into the alt, like you know how you like the alt spread with the alt spread. They might
Okay.
they've got to check in on that and see if it allows you to do it. NFL playoffs this weekend. All right, NBA tonight. We got 8 games. Of course, we've got action on Peacock tonight as well. They do have a doubleheader this evening that starts with a really good one, Doug, in the Eastern Conference. Knicks and the Pistons in Detroit tonight. Knicks right now -1 at Bet Rivers, 231.5 is the total. Of course, you can make the argument right now. The standings will tell you 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And I'm pretty sure, Doug, this is the first time they're playing this season since the playoffs last year. I think it is.
Hmm. Um, that's a
Pretty sure.
great question.
Pretty
I'm
sure.
going to scroll real quickly. I believe you're right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just too bad that neither are at full strength, right?
Yes.
Pistons really banged up. No Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris out. They got some other guys nicked up. And then the Knicks not going to have Josh Hart, and that's maybe why they've lost back-to-back games. You know, they haven't looked the same the last couple games. I don't know if Brunson's hitting a wall, whatnot, but Hart's in a lot of ways their lifeline, so to speak. So I think, I mean, I'm going to lean Detroit, but I think the spot favors the Knicks off back-to-back losses. I think that's a really good opportunity. You know, Cat I think missed two games, the 3 straight losses. Excuse me. Cat missed one of those games. Um, it's going to be a tough one. I think this is maybe the over. I think we're going to see points here. I just hate that the Sixers are, sorry, the Pistons are not full strength, and they come at you with waves with that second unit and things like that. So I'm not in a rush to bet this, and this could have a playoff vibe. So that's why the giving me a little pause on the over.
Little, yeah, 231.5 for us.
Feels
And we
low,
have seen,
doesn't it?
especially the Knicks, we've seen them really blowing
Right.
through these numbers these last couple of games. They've been playing some real high scoring contests. We do have a special at Bet Rivers tonight. Running point, Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham to each score 28 plus points in this game, boosted from plus 175 to plus 228. So Brunson and Cunningham 28 plus. Uh, Works in for that over. I'll tell you that. It'll help the over if we get both of those guys at 28 plus.
I think Cunningham could really attack here. I think he's going to score a bunch because he does that when this team needs it, and I think they're gonna need it. So I like his points over tonight. The more I think about it,
There you go for tonight. I like it too. Plus 228 for Brunson and Cunningham. Also tonight on Peacock. Peacock actually got a bunch of games rolling this evening. Nuggets in Philadelphia against the Sixers. Right now, minus 14.5. 2 tutties and a hook for the Sixers. 228.5 the total.
well, just as they were getting healthy, the injury bug, you know, comes back. So Jamal Murray's now hurt with an ankle injury, so he's out. Christian Brown and Gordon returned, but they're out today for rest. So this is going to be quite the doozy of the lineup. I mean, this is an absolute punt because Tim Hardaway Jr. is also out. So
Jeez.
I don't know how the Nuggets are going to score. Uh, Spencer Jones and his weird twisty shot formation is going to shoot some. I think this. I mean, this should be like a 40-point win. I'm serious. Like this should be like a 30-point win.
Man, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, there's bones for the buzzards here. I mean, nobody out for the Nuggets this evening. That is a big number against the Sixers, who look relatively, you could say, relatively healthy. I know Embiid's a game time decision, but relatively healthy for them, and they're coming off beating the Knicks over the weekend. The late night game on the Peacock will be Warriors and Clippers at the Intuit Dome this evening. -3 for the Warriors. Yes, Warriors 3-point road favorites. 224 flat now the total at Bet Rivers.
This is a tough one. This Warriors team. I mean, can we say that the Clippers are less dysfunctional than any team, and that's Golden State, right? You have the owner getting publishing emails. I mean, it's just a mess. Now, I think the Clips were due for a little bit of a reality check, and that happened with the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown going for over 50. But I think the Clippers bounce back. Now, Derek Jones Jr., very valuable piece on defense, great length. He's hurt. But Draymond's been either resting or kicked out of like 7 straight games. So uh, I don't know what to make of this team. I think Jimmy Butler is so overrated. He does play hard, does do certain things, but I think honestly, you just got to bet against the Warriors every game and then just have to eat it when Steph's on one of his, when Steph's cooking.
And look, the Clips have overall in the last couple of weeks gotten it back together, right? I mean, somewhat. They've
Yeah.
gotten it back together a little bit.
I mean, some of it was bad teams, like the mash unit of the Jazz, and then they beat the Kings by like 50. So let's pump the brakes on them, anointing them the NBA champs. But yeah, I think with Kawhi on an offensive tear, I think it's worth considering.
Elsewhere this evening, outside of those TV games, just after 7:30 East tip in Boston, between the Bulls and the Celtics. Celtics minus 11 now, just went up as I was looking at the line on the app on Bet Rivers, went from 10.5 to 11, with 237 flat as the total. And Jaylen Brown has been on a heater, Doug.
50 plus. He considers himself the best two-way player in the game. And, he's a former finals MVP. He takes this stuff seriously. And I think you have to start considering MVP votes. Now, his odds at Bet Rivers, 100 to 1. Okay. This is a good exercise for us all to really digest how things go in the betting market, or just the how we're wired as a sports bettor. We know that he was, I don't know, 250 a few days ago, right? Or 150 on Friday. So there are people who think I can't bet him at this because he was just this or whatever, right? Like I can't bet 100 if he was 250 a couple. I think that's stupid. Okay. We see this a lot, in the point spread game. It was just 10. I can't take 9, in a football game. But, the day it's 9 is maybe some guy's out. Like it's different information. So we know that the voters now have Jaylen Brown on their radar. And now that he's maybe kind of ratcheting up, and if the Celtics are good now and whatever, the storyline, the narrative, the details have changed. So I think it's okay to take quote unquote a bad number if there's new information. So taking 100 to 1 or refusing to take 100 to 1 just because it was 250 like 4 days ago, I think is a silly bet. You don't want to be reactionary to one game because Brown's 50-point game is going to be a distant memory in 3 months when they vote. With that being said, maybe he's sort of starting to get the attention, and this is the snowball beginning, and that's what you have to read. So yes, you don't want to be reactionary, and we discussed that in the NFL MVP market, but it's okay to take not the perfect number, especially if new information, because if this goes to 50 to 1 in 3 days, you're going to feel pretty good about your 100 to 1.
When you really get down and think about it, like we talk about this in every sport, these definitions of MVP awards and stuff like that. Like, what did everyone say about the Celtics? So, oh, Tatum's gonna be out for the whole year. They traded Porzingis. They did this. They did that. Oh, they're not gonna be. They're gonna fight for a play-in. They're gonna do that. I mean, they're third in the East. I understand the East isn't the West, but they're third in the East. They're 10 games over 500. Like, he's doing the type of stuff that is MVP worthy for all of that. And that's even more reason, and he should be right there with it.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to have outlier years, right? So Westbrook, when he won the triple double with the triple double average, he was like a 6 seed. So that was an outlier performance. With the new rules of the voting, meaning you have to play 65 games, that changes things a lot, right? No one's hoping for an SGA injury, but let me put it this way, Carver. If SGA and they win like 66 games, like why is he the MVP favorite? Right?
I agree.
There's enough blowback with his pushing off and the foul merchant, free throw merchant, or whatever. So why does it have to be the guy who won it last year if he's awesome? I mean, there could be other guys who are awesome getting it. So I actually think This reminds me of the Heisman and the quarterback thing. SGA feels like the quarterback, and I feel like everyone else is like a different position. And there, every few years, these voters want to sort of exercise their right to not vote for a quarterback. And I have a feeling SGA may not win MVP this year.
I mean, look, I know it's ifs and buts or whatever for it, but like, let's say he did, and nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Let's say he did. How many games are they going to win this year if everyone else on that team is healthy besides him? Where are they going to win?
Maybe like 60.
60 games. That's with him. If he didn't play and everyone else was out there, they'd probably win 60. And here it is, the ultimate MVP argument. They wrote no Tatum already, no everybody else. You took Brown off the Celtics right now for the rest of the season. Where are they going to be?
Exactly. And I think there's some perfect symmetry here. Jason Tatum couldn't get over the hump, and then Brown gets the finals MVP. Tatum can never get the league MVP. Brown could win an NBA MVP.
Tatum. You're bother Tatum a lot.
He's like, it's just so torture. It's like the little brother who never got the or the big brother who never got the chance with the little brother always stole his thunder.
Elsewhere, Hawks are in Toronto against the Raptors tonight. Raptors minus 2.5, 234 flat. I did see no Trae Young again for the Hawks, and Byron's in on the Nuggets team total under 106.5. Probably not bad, Byron. I don't know if they could score 100 points with that unit they're rolling out there tonight.
It's crazy. These two teams just face each other, right? The Raptors and the Bulls. And they had 1 million points. And so why wouldn't they have 1 million points again? So this number feels a little low. Now, we just saw the Lakers and the Grizzlies play each other, and they flew over, and then they played each other again, and it kind of went a little under. So that does gives me concern, but that was more about the Lakers just kind of mailing it in the first half. So I think over 234 is the play here with the Hawks and Raptors. This is the leader in the clubhouse right now for my best bet tonight.
Yeah, they broke 250 on Saturday night against each other in Toronto, up and away in that spot. So I'll be right there with you on that over with the Hawks and the Raptors this evening. Suns are catching 8 in Houston against the Rockets, 222.5 the total there.
This is interesting because the Suns like hate Kevin Durant basically. They always want to go after him, but the Rockets steamrolled them the last meeting. So there's revenge, but Phoenix is coming off the big win over the Thunder with Devin Booker hitting the 3. So it's a flat spot for Phoenix. It's a revenge angle for Phoenix. I don't know what to make of this. I've gone back and forth. 8 does feel like a lot, but I do think the Rockets are pretty solid. But Phoenix is playing a lot better. Aaron Goodwin's been fantastic. I'd lean to the dog, but I'm not playing it.
My Hornets tonight in OKC against the Thunder. They're catching 15.5, 235.5 to total at Bet Rivers. I got to tell you, Doug, I'm thinking about it with my Hornets. They either win, and they don't really get blown out in any of these games. Like even the games they lose, they hang around. I know they have 1 9 or 10-point loss to the Bucks, and then they played them real close after that. They even beat him the second time through. But the Hornets are in a lot of these games. And I know it's the Thunder. Maybe it's one of these nights where the Thunder are like, you know what? Let's get up 15 or 20 and we'll cruise in the fourth and maybe only win by 10. Maybe it's one of those nights for the Thunder.
So they thought yesterday was and they had built a 4-6 point lead, and then Dylan Brooks happened. So,
yeah.
Thunder getting everyone's best shot. That's why this is so hard to run the table and things like that, or make these ridiculous regular seasons. But I don't blame you for wanting to jump in front of this OKC train. Guess what? Against the spread, Carver, 500, 18 and 18. So yeah, a point spread's the great equalizer, as they say, and no better evidence of that than this Thunder team.
I might have my Hornets in the mix tonight, possibly in OKC against the Thunder. And your Jazz are in Portland late night against the Blazers. Your Jazz catching 6.
Yeah, they're not good on the road. So we got to be careful of taking them. I think they get smoked, but I do like them in terms of just their effort. They've lost 3 in a row, excuse me. 1 at home to Boston, who was just so good in that game. And then two in California. Now they go to Portland. It's just a tough place to play. Markkanen's been awesome. Keontae George getting a lot of buzz for most improved. I don't know, man. 6 feels a little on the short side, but they have more depth. I just like this Blazers team, and they're tough at home, but 6 might be a little too short. But this Jazz team's hanging around. I shouldn't say that. They lost by 9 to the Warriors. They got blown out against the Clippers, but they sat everyone. I mean, it was like Markkanen,
Yeah.
everyone. So they actually played hard. It was a close game in the fourth, and then the Clips just pulled away. So maybe I'm talking myself back into the other side with the Jazz, but I think we're going to see up and down game. I can't get involved.
You get some points too. 242. I know it
And they're
feels.
not at home where their splits are so much more favorable.
Yeah, that's also they're a much different team outside of Salt Lake City. Your Jazz, much different team on all fronts. So there you go. 8 games in the NBA tonight for us on Betting Weekly Live. If you have your eyes on a plus money bet at Bet Rivers, Betting Weekly is giving you a little pizza money to lock it in. Use our pizza money bonus code Betting Weekly 1218 to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money bet at Bet Rivers. Betting Weekly 1218. You have until January 11th to redeem the code at any U.S. Bet Rivers sportsbook. Good for one bet for eligible players only. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That, of course, Betting Weekly 1218 is the code for the pizza money bet there at the site. All right, college hoops, and I loved it. I did flick around a little bit, Doug, on Saturday before the NFL game started, and I was checking in. The conference play has started. We really start to gear up now here, January, February, into March. And we have a couple games tonight with some ranked teams to get us going here to start the week. Big Ten action. Nebraska, who, yes, still undefeated, 14-0. But despite all that, dogs tonight in Columbus against the Buckeyes. Ohio State -2.5 at Bet Rivers, 156.5 the total.
So there will be a really good time to fade the Huskers. Okay, it'll be on the road. I agree. And it'll be a conference game, obviously, and one of those things. I just don't think it's tonight. I don't think the Buckeyes have the horses. I don't think a Monday night and all that. I just don't think it. I think it's going to take everything in Nebraska, but I think they're going to win the game and then get drilled at Assembly Hall against Indiana. So I do like the Huskers tonight. Now, the market, we talked about this a second ago with OKC. They're only 7-6-1 ATS. Maybe they go down because they haven't been in a bunch of tight games, right? That muscle memory needs to kick in. I just think the Buckeyes can drop the ball a little bit. I've been a little disappointed with Ohio State. Maybe I'm emotionally scarred from supporting them a couple games ago and getting burned as a home dog. I think Nebraska gets it done. I think they're going to have full effort because I think they know the challenge of going on the road, and they're off the big win. I get it. I think Indiana is when they lay the egg.
So this is one of those games that obviously the antenna comes up for me, Doug, because just like in college football and college basketball, where we get the home team unranked favored against the ranked team, and that kind of always is something that catches your eye. Some people make it like almost like a blind bet sometimes. They just automatically go and play it. System play. Unranked team favored over the ranked team. But maybe not so fast here with that tonight, Doug.
That's it. You're going to win over time if you do that. Yeah. Okay. If you do that, you're going to win over time. I just, I'm trying to catch the falling knife, so to speak, and I don't think it's going to happen. Now, am I going to bet Nebraska tonight? Probably not. Probably not. I'm just hoping they take care of business, and then it's Indiana. That's my hope. So I think it's going to be. That's just my gut. I've been doing this a while. I think that first big road test is when they actually do handle their business, although it's so hard to have the big win over Sparty and then come back and a couple days later take care of business.
It's hard for me to get away from it. I do like playing it when it comes up. I like playing the unranked team home against the ranked team as a favorite. So we'll see where that sits. 2.5 tonight for Ohio State. That's just after 6:30 East. They will tip that game off. The late night or later night. It's not really late night. Big Ten game, which is also on FS1, I believe. USC got blasted, right, by Michigan the other night. Now at East Lansing against Michigan State, 10.5 for Sparty, 150.5 the total.
So obviously the Trojans got drilled in Michigan, and Sparty's coming off a big game, tough game, and I like what Izzo was saying afterwards. Like, I wish they stormed the court and trampled me. That's just so Izzo. It's so awesome. I think USC gets drilled again. I really do. I don't think there's any. I mean, look, it's January. It's cold. They've been on the road. This team is certainly capable of getting tagged, as Michigan just did it. I don't think they kind of respond. I think this sort of has like a hangover effect, and they get drilled again. And the line's not as high, right? It's just 10 and 10.5. So uh, I want no part of the Trojans to bounce back, so to speak.
I'm with you on this. I have no interest in USC this evening in East Lansing against the Spartans. No interest whatsoever. And a nice little, like you were saying, some bounce back for Michigan State here. So when there is another Big Ten game on the card tonight, you do get Oregon and Rutgers at the rack. Oregon, a 4.5-point road favorite in that. 139.5 is the total. We do got Brown on the card tonight too against Yale. Can't forget about that.
Home dog at the Pits. I know. Home dog at the Pits. Market moving towards the Bears, down from 9 to 8.5. You don't just come into the Pits. I lean to the Rutgers. I don't. Oregon's Dana Allman. I mean, they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Obviously, they were in a tailspin, and then they've won 4 of 5. And that Gonzaga performance was pretty strong. They only lost by 9, but they're down 16 with like 4 minutes to go. I don't know about this Brown team. I think Yale. I agree with Henry here. Yale could win by a lot. But Brown just has like a couple good guys they can run it through, and if it goes well for them, they can hang around and keep this inside the number. But usually, they're going to need more.
Henry also throwing Stephen F. Austin plus 12.5 at McNeese. Thank me later. Don't sleep on the Lumberjacks. That is now 10.5, by the way, at Bet Rivers. So that's gone down a couple of ticks for Henry there. Yale and Brown. Yale's going to win by 30 tonight. There you go.
It would not shock me if they did. Let me put it that way.
College hoops for this evening. And I took a peek at tomorrow, Doug, and I saw Michigan's it's like 25.5 at Penn State tomorrow night. So you're going to get another enormous Michigan spread for us tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live. Of course, if you like
By the way, I just want to tease our viewers. I have it in my calendar. There's a team I'm fading this week, and it's in my calendar when they play next. So we should have some good college hoops this week.
Okay, there you go.
I gave out one bet. I gave out one bet on the weekend on Saturday, and it under hit by 31 points.
It is time. We are beginning to put football on the back burner, and Doug has the college football notebook out, and he is ready to go here for us. So make sure you should be with us every day on Betting Weekly Live. In fact, you should like the show and the channel so much you should be subscribed to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, and check out not just us on Betting Weekly Live, but all of our other shows as well, including Betting Weekly EPL, released earlier today. Join Nigel Seeley, Dan Roebuck, and Jack Wright as they preview Match Day 21 and discuss the future for Manchester United, sacking another manager. This Amorim, they got rid of him, Ruben Amorim, and they got rid of him. So Manchester United making another change at the head. I saw a lot of my Manchester United people this morning confused and puzzled, as always, by the stuff that they do. So make sure you check out Nigel, Dan, and Jack. Betting Weekly EPL, Match Day 21 on the horizon. Pucks tonight. We do have 5 games in the NHL this evening. Starting things off early at the Garden, where Utah is in town, finishing off the tri-state area swing. They beat the Islanders, they lost to the Devils, and now they finish it off against the Rangers. Rangers' first time playing since that big performance down at the Winter Classic on Friday night against the Panthers. This is almost basically a pick'em too. Rangers minus 112, Mammoth minus 110. It's moved a lot since this morning. Mammoth were about even money this morning. Now minus 110. Totals 5.5. I mean, look, Doug, I don't know here. Obviously, the Rangers at home have been dreadful. 5, 10, and 13 at Madison Square Garden. I mean, just it's hard to back them. You know, they had a great win Friday night, in front of a national audience against Florida in that Winter Classic game, but I think the Rangers have been just a little too Jekyll and Hyde for me. I don't know if I could back them tonight at home.
Aren't they the road team? You want them to bet. You only want to bet them on the road, right?
Yeah, that's it. You can't play them at the Garden. You just can't. It's probably an under too, but I'm not going to play a 5.5 to the under in today's
No,
game.
you can't.
So that's kind of where I sit with that. The Ducks are in Washington against the Capitals. The Ducks have got all kinds of problems right now. They've lost 5 in a row. I think it's 9 out of their last 11. They're starting this Mrazek in goal tonight, who stinks. This Peter Mrazek. Caps are minus 141. This might be my puck line chance of the night. Minus a goal and a half for Washington at plus 175.
Well, how bad is this goalie? Because these things, the market tends to over. Like, I would be inclined to bet under 6.5 because the Ducks are going to protect their goalie, play defensive. He's going to he's in the NHL for a reason.
Well, Mrazek's been around a long time. He's a veteran goalie. He's been in the league forever. He's only played twice since December 1st. Hasn't started since November 30th. He got pulled that night, giving up 3 goals on 16 shots. He's got some of the worst numbers in the league this year. He's bounced around from team to team the last few years, just hanging on. Usually a guy you can go after, Doug. Peter Mrazek. It's a guy you can. There's not much on the card tonight. Maybe Washington at home, laying the goal and a half against Anaheim. Maybe.
All right. I'm very curious when these types of games, because I've been down this road where it looks too obvious, kind of thing.
You're right. And the NHL is a place where you absolutely can get that. Detroit's in Ottawa against the Senators this evening. Senators a healthy favorite against Detroit. Detroit plus 123. Total's a flat 6. Don't really love this one. I could see Detroit. I'm inclined to take Detroit, Doug, but Ottawa's won a couple games in a row. They're pretty decent at home. Probably not where I want to play. You're Kraken all of a sudden now win every time on the second night of a back-to-back. They beat Vancouver on Friday night.
It's battle-tested.
It was brutal. We did get the over, though, in that game. They're in Calgary tonight against the Flames. Flames are minus $1.50. Kraken plus 120, and that's the typical Kraken 5.5 in that game. I do like the late night game. Minnesota in LA against the Kings. Wild minus $1.17. They lost to the Kings Saturday night. So this is like an NBA situation. 2 teams, same venue, over the course of 3 days. Wild, the much better team. And they already lost once to them. I don't think they lose twice to Los Angeles. So I'm going to take Minnesota tonight.
I'm going to say, do we have data on how this usually plays out?
I do not have the data on the same venue back-to-back nights. Because you know
it's
what?
Pretty rare.
I'm surprised they still do it. They did it a ton in 20 and 21, obviously, with COVID and how much they did it. But they really don't do it that much. It's not like where the NBA is still pretty frequent. We catch a couple of them every week or two. NHL, I can't even remember another one this year that we've had this. Same team in 2 spots, in the same spot for 2 straight games. Not many of them.
Yeah, definitely an NBA thing.
But Minnesota's for me tonight. That's probably if there was one thing I really like tonight, Doug, in the NHL, it's Minnesota in LA against the Kings. One of the 3
Don't
best.
The Wild stink?
Who?
Don't the Wild stink, though?
No, they do not.
Okay.
Third best record in hockey right now. 58 points is where they're at. Right behind Colorado and Dallas. They've been playing really well. Aside from that loss in LA the other night, they're 6-1-3 in their last 10. And they're on the middle of a massive road trip. This might be the last game. They might have one more because they've been playing the juniors at their arena in St. Paul. So I think this is the last game of a 7-game road trip for them as well that they're finishing off. Dougie Pucks, do you like Canada over Finland in the bronze medal game at the World Juniors? Of course, and there it is, Carver, the hockey guru. Any thoughts on Sweden versus Czech tonight for the World Juniors Championship? Czech with a massive upset of Canada last night. Deserved to win the game. They played really well against Canada. Sweden, I can't go away from Sweden tonight against the Czechs. Great story by the Czechs upsetting Canada last night. I don't think they can do it 2 nights in a row. I think that it's going to be Sweden winning the World Juniors this evening. So there you go. We even got some World Junior Championship action in for the ice tonight, Doug. I know everybody was clamoring for it.
Yeah, I was in the sports book and I saw some cheering. I was like, "There's not a game," and I was like, "Oh, some hockey going on over there," and it was Canada or something playing.
There is some hockey. There was some big hockey going on this past weekend. Also tonight, let's go to college football. That's right. Believe it or not, we do have a college football game tonight. If you are so interested, the FCS championship game between Illinois State and Montana State. Right now at Bet Rivers, you can get minus 10.5 from Montana State. 57.5 is the total. And this is, Doug, I wanted to make sure I checked, a neutral site. This is in Nashville at First Bank Stadium is where they're playing this.
Yeah, all the people I talked to like the dog here, 10.5. The total got steamed up a little bit, I believe, but taking the points here, the 10.5 could be a high scoring game. These games are a little different. I'm not saying it's high school, but it's not college that we're normally seeing on TV. They get up and down. I think a very simple way to look at it, it's the same size field, but the players are a little smaller. So just, think about it in the NFL terms, right? It's like a bunch of guys in a compact, and that's why we see all these collisions all the time, and yards are so hard to come by. Well, as the players get smaller, it's easier to get around guys. So you see a lot of seam passes going for 65 yards, a lot of open receivers, but it's also going to be a great game. I like the dog here. That's what I'm hearing from my people who follow FCS.
And it's amazing because I wanted to go and just look and see who Illinois State had beat, kind of their road to the championship here and what they've done. And it's not even so much who they beat. The thing that sticks out the most to me, Doug, is if Illinois State can play what tonight would be their 5th game, think about this, from November 29th to January 5th, they're playing their 5th game, and it's for the national championship. Why can't the big boys do that too? Like, this is like the landing model. Why can't we play?
Because they're hanging on to old traditions. The tradition was everyone waits a month to play a bowl game, and it's like a week of festivity. It's just nonsense. And then we're trying to follow that script, even though, Dan Lanning was great about it. He's like, our players don't go to all the festivities for a week. They're in their hotel room. It's just different. We're trying to appease 2 different things here. Look at every sport. What if we just had the NFL regular season? Okay. Which we did. What if we have to wait 3.5 weeks for the first playoff games? Right. Like, what if we're like, okay, January 28th, we have 3 playoff games. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, no one waits 3.5 weeks. The NBA waits like 2 days. Baseball waits like 2 days, right? Well, they're not waiting 3.5 weeks.
Not waiting 3.5 weeks at all. It's amazing. They can play 5 games in the span of basically 5.5, 6 weeks. And yet we can't somehow pull that off with us. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Of course, later this week, we will have the college football playoff semis. 1 game Thursday night, 1 game Friday night. And I love this. I loved it last year, Doug. You get with this and wild card weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, bang, 5 straight days, massive football games that are going to be on. Thursday night, Miami and Ole Miss, of course, will be in the Fiesta. And then you get Oregon and Indiana on Friday night as we get to the Peach Bowl. Looking at these 4 teams, is there anything you want to go to here? Any value at all in playing any of these 4 in terms of a future at this point with only 4 teams left?
No. The market is as high as it's possibly can be right on Indiana. Don't you think?
Yep.
Not that I don't think plus 120 could be a good bet. It's just they're 3.5-point favorites over Oregon, a team they were underdogs by like 7.5 in Eugene earlier this year. I just think this is the apex of the market for Indiana. So I just don't think there's going to be value because what you have to do is sort of play it out, right? Indiana to beat Oregon and then Indiana against Ole Miss or Miami. And I just don't think plus 120. Now, I guess the Hoosiers power rating could go up if they have a I call it non-lucky or non-fluke win. If they just have a solid win, even if it's by 3 points, a solid win over the Ducks, their power rating could probably go up because Oregon's power rated pretty high. So I just don't. I think there's better things to do than grab plus 120, but I'm sure as heck rooting for the Hoosiers.
Hoosiers and Ole Miss. You said it earlier. Like Hoosiers and Ole Miss would just be, no matter what, the winner is an all-time story. Like it really is. I think I think it'd be cool Indiana to win, and Signetti's been unbelievable there over these last 2 years. But man, the amount Lane Kiffin would forever be attached, not with what he's accomplished. It would be to leaving this team if they ever won. That would be Lane Kiffin's, unless he
He'd
ever
get a
wins
ring,
himself.
wouldn't he? He'd probably get a ring, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if like random practice players get rings, I believe the head coach for 13 games should probably get a ring.
Yeah, but still, isn't
Let me put
LSU
it this way.
paying him for every win too, right, Doug? Didn't LSU pay him?
It actually makes sense if you think about it, because when you pay someone to leave a job, you match their salary and then give them a raise, right? Well, he's like, well, my salary's fluid right now. It could be X, Y, or Z. So they're like, okay, well, we'll match the base and then we'll match whatever it would be. It's not. It was phrased a certain way to the public, which is accurate, but it's not like they're rewarding Lane for his old team winning. They're just matching salary and understanding that he could have made more if he stayed like another 3 weeks or whatever, another month. So that's the practice. But I'll say this, don't tease me, bro. I don't. We've been close a few times, Carver. Butler almost beat Duke in a national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
We've been close to these miracle stories. All right. Tom Watson.
Yeah.
At the British Open.
Yep.
I'm blanking on the name. It's on the west coast of Scotland. Turnberry. Like he had it, right? He just had to go up and down a knucklehead, or up and down with a 2-putt, and he didn't. So we've been close. We've had some magical runs. Villanova, I guess, in '85 could be but nothing like this. Indiana was like the worst team in college football.
Yep.
They have like 4 bowl wins to their name.
Yeah.
This could be just awesome. So, and the fact that they're the favorites, crazy, not just like the little engine that could. So I'm rooting for them for sure. But you're right. That Ole Miss story is amazing.
Montana State at -500 in the national chip is crazy. They are begging you to take the dog. Henry says they're there. Thanks for the hits this weekend, guys. Much appreciated. We got in on Dawson Knox with that touchdown for the Bills yesterday. That was a good one for me in that one, that's for sure. Hoosiers for sure would be a blast. That Dawson Knox was like 16-1 first touchdown too, Doug, as I got a little off Dawson Knox.
I think I've made the executive decision to corner the market on last touchdowns. So I'm going to be aggressive with the last TD markets these days.
Ooh, we're going to have to gear this up for the playoffs this weekend then. I want to get in on the last touchdown market with Doug. All right,
it's great. I mean, imagine the Ravens Steelers last night if you had last touchdown.
Yeah, no. Oh,
like
man.
These long touchdowns at the end of the game.
Incredible. All right, best bets and the Daily Double for Betting Weekly Live here tonight on a Monday. Let's kick the week off on the right way. I am going to throw the curveball tonight, Doug. I thought I was going to go Pucks, but you know what? I'm taking my Hornets. Plus 15.5 in OKC. I know it's the big bad Thunder, but second night back-to-back for them. I know they lost. I get all of that stuff. I'm going to take my Hornets with the 15.5 to hang around and hopefully cover that number.
I like it. I'm going pigskin. Going a little college football. I'm taking the dog plus the 10.5. This was a tough call because I had a few NBA games I liked. I think Michigan State might open up a can on this USC team. I don't think they have the mental fortitude, but I think the dog, look, really good guys I really, really respect are on the dog here. So I'm going to take it, but this is not a big player. This is going to be a slow Monday for me. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, this is as good as it gets. The Hornets plus 15.5 in OKC against the Thunder, and Illinois State in the FCS title game getting 10.5 in Nashville against Montana State, plus 252 for the Daily Double tonight. Let's go. You know what's been throwing us off, Doug? It's we had these holiday weeks where we weren't on for a couple days, and it's gotten us out. We're going to be now. We're back Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. We're back in our groove now here this week, and I could feel it. It's all coming around for us to get back on that run.
Yeah, a little football, a little Monday Night Football. Who are we to turn our head scoff at that?
Who says there's no Monday Night Football tonight? Daily double for the early show hit with a last second goal. So you see, we're going to piggyback the AM betting weekly live and the PM crew. We're going to get it with the Hornets in Illinois State tonight. All right, so there you go, betting weekly live for a Monday. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. Lots of action tomorrow night. We'll start to get into maybe a couple of those games for the NFL this weekend. Get a little closer to the college football playoff as well. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, Betting Weekly Live. Of course, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you back here tomorrow.